A 500-point sell-off on the NASDAQ, 0 winning trades, the biggest red day of the year so far, and 2 more blown funded accounts. That pretty much summarizes the day. Despite all that, I'm actually not that upset, to be honest with you. I felt like today was really a learning day, and I learned some things today, and that's the win we'll take away. It's Black Coffee Trader. It is Friday, March the 28th, and as I just said, I got my face ripped off today by the market. But let's just dive in, and we'll talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. I think actually let's start with TradeZella. I think that might be the most helpful. I do not recall ever having a 0 winning day since I've been trading. It's probably happened before, but it's been a very, very long time ago. We lost 4,500 today, 0 winning trades, all losers. We didn't take that many trades, but they just did not win. 30 trades here, so probably like 6 or 7 trades in total. Our value pretty bad today, -7 risk to reward. It was a rough week. We're down 82.60 this week, and on the month we are now red, and I don't think I'll recover that in one day. It's possible. If we can have a $4,500 red day, we can also have a $4,500 green day. But we're down about 4,000 on the month. And it's kind of disappointing because this month, if you look at the trade win rate was not very good, 48%, but 70% of our days were green. The problem was that the red days were too big in relationship to the green days we had. So something I need to work on, but that's the skinny on the trades themselves, or the accounts for the month. Let's also look at the little spreadsheet that I usually share. This is this week, and as you can see, we definitely had a very, very rough day. I also need to mark in here, I lost account 71. This is account 1, and I also lost 76 today. So lost those 2. We lost 4 accounts this week. I think 4. Yep, lost 4 accounts this week. Very, very, very tough week, very bad week on my behalf, and really we lost an average of about 700 per account on the week, so not very good, but that is that. So let's dive into what we learned today and why I'm coming away with a positive. So I have to go to the pre-market, or kind of not the pre-market, but I got the 60-minute chart here. We'll leave it with 60-minute. Actually, no, let's change this to about the 30-minute chart. I think it's going to be a little bit better to see on that. So this morning, my thought process was that we would probably, I was really looking for fades of the 20,000 area. This high that we had from end of day or through the day yesterday, or in the overnight session, really. Actually, this was the overnight session high. Overnight session high was right here. But anyway, I was looking at this 20,000 level. This was the low, one of the major lows of yesterday. We did have a blip down. This was yesterday's low, but we did hold this level quite well. And I was really looking to possibly fade that or look for a break and retest long. I was also looking for a potential fade of the lows from yesterday. Or I was also looking for a potential fade if we got up to the 20,200s. So these were kind of the 3 major areas I was looking at. If we push up, do we fade off those levels, or do we see break and retest longs? I wasn't really paying that much attention to what would happen to the downside. If downside came in, I was thinking the 800s to 750s. Didn't even think about the 600s or down here to the 400s where we really ended up, which is pretty wild. So that was the game plan. And if you look at the day, so we started the day, and I took the first trade actually on ES. And really, I should mention on ES, my game plan was similar. I was looking, if we had a move to the downside, I was really looking more for this this 5680 or I wasn't really even thinking about the 5650s. I was thinking if we move down, we possibly get right to this level. We obviously blew through all of that. But I did take my first trade on ES this morning. And it was I don't recall which accounts it was. I think 84. Yep. It was this bottom group of accounts. And I took a short. So we had news this morning, and in the final pre-market here, we pushed up, and then we came all the way back down. Market opened right here at 9:30. We pushed down, came back up and tested this. And when we tested this and wicked back down, I took the short, and it just ended up being a fail. Pushed back out of there. I mean, the market did end up pushing down, but not a very good setup, and I really, that was too much of a forced position, a forced trade. I then watched this entire market just push down, and I want to go to NQ. I've circled some things here, just don't pay attention to that. But I watched this market fall down, and I was thinking maybe we hold the 800s, maybe we hold the 760s. And as aggressive as this downside move was, I was really looking at what I wanted to see was for this to break and retest this level short, or break and retest this level to set up a short. With the downtrend, that's really what I was looking for. It didn't happen. There was really nowhere for me to get in. I used to go back a year ago, I probably would have just jumped in. It's just, for me, it's too risky. So I was really, really patient in all this morning, did not take any trades except for that one ES trade. And when we started to get down into these levels, down here way below the 750s on NQ, I thought, wow, maybe the 600s come into play. And if so, if we get a hold, maybe I'll look for a long off of there, which is what I did. I was also looking at the ES 5650s. Which were pretty much the same level as the NQ 600s. And we reached both of those at pretty much the same time. And one of the things I've done better is being a lot more patient. And instead of taking these first couple wicks, I waited. I waited. So we were down here in this area for about 10 minutes before I took the long. And we saw this little liquidity grab, and we had this big candle push up. And I took the long on this next candle. I think, if I remember right, this thing kind of wicked down, pushed out, and that's where I took the long. And then we started to creep up. For several minutes, we were starting to push up and kind of hold. And I was so confident that this was going to push higher. This is where I made my first mistake. The first mistake was going to ES and entering a long position with these accounts. No, it was 71. Yep. With these middle accounts that are blown, these two right here. So because the move was really, it felt really, really strong as I got into this trade, and that's why I decided to come over here and just enter long. Not a very good entry at all on ES, but I entered there long, and ultimately this failed. Ultimately, we pulled all the way back, and I had a 35-point stop, which is a lot bigger than I typically do. Took a pretty big loss, $300 and some on that trade. And my initial setup here was targeting right here, targeting the 750s. And at my first profit target, because I had a 35-point stop, my first profit target was set at 35 points to the upside. I had an opportunity here to get out of this trade with over 100 in profit. We entered that at about the 632s, and we got up to the 650s. So 32, we had about 18 points in profit. So 20, 40 to 100. I was up about 120, 130 bucks. And really, that possibly was a mistake to not take something off there. I thought about it, and I just didn't. Well, we ended up giving this all the way back. And I'm okay with this. I'm okay with the patience. I'm okay with taking the shot. And I'm okay with getting stopped out. What I'm not okay with is my anticipation and then moving to ES, entering long here as well with these accounts. So what happened then is, because I had such a big loss here as well, we were down 300, and so now these accounts were in pretty bad shape. I then took several more trades with these accounts. I ended up blowing those accounts, ended up taking a few more, and this was more kind of an emotional trade of, hey, these accounts are down pretty far. I'm either going to reclaim some profits in them or I'm going to lose them, and we ended up losing them. So that was not very good. I think I also took some trades. Yes, I took one trade on these accounts down here. I took the long when we finally pushed out of here on ES. Did take the first contract off here, but ultimately got stopped out. And that ended up being a losing trade by about $60, and that was where we ended it on those accounts. I think that was pretty much it on ES. Now let's go back to NQ, and I'll show you. I did take another short trade right here after this failed. So I got stopped out here. We pushed down below, and this high, this failed to move up. And when this thing started to fall apart, I decided to short it, and just unfortunately got stopped out. Really wasn't a great entry. I'm not happy about this setup at all. And I'll talk more about what I really should have been looking for here in a minute. So anyway, I think that's pretty much it. I did take a long with the 84 accounts. I did take a long here trying to test this wick and just got stopped out. Again, all of the trades from this point, after this point, I really shouldn't have taken. I'm okay with that initial setup long, that stab long, if you will. I think it was on these accounts. No, what accounts was it on now? Right here. Yep. I'm okay with this initial trade. I'm not okay with the rest of them because this obviously was a failure. When we have such a big move to the downside, this should have broken and pushed higher quite a bit, quite nicely. And the fact that it failed, at that point, what I should have been doing was I should have been looking for a break and retest short. And that really didn't occur anywhere here. It occurred kind of right here. But that setup just really didn't play. And the thing, I've circled something up here. This is, and something I need to really pay attention to. I looked at this morning. I looked at this. I did not have this level marked. But I looked at this and I thought, man, because here we had, I think there was some kind of news. Yes, we had 10 o'clock news this morning. And we had this wick and we pushed up, and I thought to myself, I was looking left thinking, gosh, this is kind of retesting this area. And I really didn't bother to look further left to see that this was the overnight lows. And honestly, I really feel like this would have been my best trade of the day, would have been the best entry. What I should have done is take this short. When we failed to reclaim this was a break and retest of this failure. And I failed to do that. And I think what the lesson I really learned today, again, I'm okay with taking this shot long and being wrong. I'm okay with the first one. I'm not okay with the other ones. But I'm disappointed I didn't see this. Well, I did see it, but it didn't register in my brain that this was the pre-market lows, and that's why I marked this. One of the things I've really noticed is some of the better trades I've taken recently have been when we break and retest a key area, key level of support or resistance. And it's something I really want to do a better job of staying focused on. So I am going to start to mark the low of day, the aftermarket lows, the aftermarket highs, the previous day lows, and the previous day highs, along with the other key levels that I have marked on my charts. And I want to take some of those trades and really try to stay out of any other setups except for that. I'm okay again with taking these bounces off key levels. You know, we get a rejection or we get a bounce. The key there is I probably should have, I don't know, I didn't take the best entry there, and I'm okay with having the loss. I'm just not okay with my continuation of trading it. Going back to like on ES here, I think a couple days ago I took a really nice break and retest short. Yep, I still have it marked here. You can't see the trade anymore, but you can see this was a day. This was on the, what day was this? The 26th. Which would have been on Wednesday. We had this move down. I stayed out of all this, was really patient, and when we broke below and we retested this area right here, I took this short, very low risk, very high reward, and got that full fill. This is the kind of setup that I need to be looking for, and we had it today right here, and I didn't recognize it. And so I think that was the big lesson for me today. And honestly, even though today was such a bad red day, it's inspiring to me to know that, hey, I learned something from today. I didn't just have a red day and lost a couple accounts and we move on. I learned something from that, and this is it. So I'll be looking for that a lot more, looking for these breaks and retests, and really trying to be a lot better at that going forward. I think that'll make a difference. So gosh, this thing's continuing to fall down. We're now below the 5609s. Where are we at on NQ? On the NASDAQ, we are down, flirting right at the 400s. So, wow, this is really, really, really tanking. Looking at the big picture, I did clean up my chart. I took a bunch of levels off of my charts just to kind of clear things up a little bit. But we are down on the daily. You can see we're down here to these 400s on the NASDAQ. And if this thing if it opens up on Sunday night and continues to fall apart, if we start to lose some of these levels, I mean, this could end up being a pretty big free for all. And really, if you look at this, what the last week or two really was just an ugly bear flag. Move down, bear flag up, and we fall apart. So we'll see. Does this hold, and does this continue to push back out, or where this goes? So it's really anybody's guess going forward, but I think the picture is very similar on the ES as well. We didn't fall quite as far. We're still not quite down to these recent lows on ES, but again, if we lose about this area, the 55, 60s, could be a pretty big free for all to the downside. So anyway, we'll keep our eyes and ears peeled on Monday, and hopefully we can at least wrap up the month on a green day on Monday. That's the goal. Last but not least, I want to say thank you, new subs. Notice we're getting a few more, and I appreciate that. Also, Monday is the last day of the Apex 80% off sale, so those of you that use code BCT, thank you. But that code gets you that best deal, as does pretty much everybody else's code too, I believe. But anyway, if you choose to support my channel, I appreciate that. But that sale is ending on Monday. The take profit sale is still going on, 30% off and no additional fees. That is awesome. I do have some take profit evals that I'm working on. Today was not very good on evals as well. I do copy trade the evals with my funded account, so you can guess that the evals aren't very good. But anyway, those sales are going on, so thanks for using code BCT, those of you that do, and those of you that don't, that's okay too. And once again, just thank you for following along, and hopefully you learned something. Not that I'm trying to teach, but I'm just taking you along on the trading journey and showing you what I'm doing, and if it helps us get better as traders, that's what it's all about. So I'm going to sign off. I wish you guys a happy and a good weekend, and we'll be back on Monday freshly charged, and hopefully we can have a better day on Monday. So until next time, take care, and so long.